Good morning, Year 3. Welcome to Monday's maths lesson. What I would like you to do is have a go at these 4 questions. Remember, if there's a triangle in the corner, try and do it in your head mentally first, and then the square, do it with the written method. If you need to do written for the others, that's fine, but try it in your head first. So pause, and once you've answered those 4 questions, carry the video on. Right, here are your 4 answers. Did you manage to get them all correct? Today we are going to be drawing and interpreting bar charts. So we've done pictograms and you did really well with those, so we're moving on to bar charts or bar graphs today. Okay, so you need to make sure your work is set out clearly. If you have a ruler, it will be really useful. All right, so it doesn't matter if the paper's squared, plain or lined, okay, but have a ruler. All right, and use information effectively and can answer questions based on a bar graph or a bar chart. Okay, so there's 2 bar charts up on the screen. Which one has the most appropriate scale? So the scale is the numbers down the edge, how much it's going up in. So we've got one here on graph B. Again, excuse my very wobbly pen. Need to perfect my mouse skills, I think. There we go. So which of those is most appropriate? So both graphs are showing the same data, but using a different scale. So which one do you think is most effective and why? Okay, so we have this one, which is going up in 2s, so 2, 4, 6, 8, all the way to 24. And this one is going up in 1s up to 12, okay? And you can see they're showing the same data because blue, if I draw a line across, goes to 10 on here, and it goes to 10 on here as well. Okay, so same data, just using a different scale. So let's have a look, which one's more appropriate. Okay, I would say that graph A has the most appropriate scale for the size of the number and the data that we are using. Okay, so if you said graph A, well done. If you said graph B, that is absolutely fine as long as you can explain why you think it's most appropriate. Okay, so it uses a scale of 1, which makes better use of the space, because this one we've gone all the way up to 24, but actually we don't go higher than 10, which is down here. So we've got all this wasted space for no reason. Whereas this one, where it's going up in 1s, we can really clearly see the difference between the 4 different sets of data. Okay, so scale is really important, and throughout the lesson you'll be deciding which is the most important, and when you make your own bar graph, you'll need to decide which is most appropriate. And like the pictograms last week, it can be 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. It doesn't matter. It does depend on the data you're using. Okay, so there's no point me going up in 10s if only one set of data goes up to 10. But if I had numbers in the hundreds, going up in 10s or 20s would be more appropriate. Right, use the information in the pictogram over on this side to show me what the complete bar chart would look like. If you don't have anything to draw it on, don't worry, just work out, pause the video and use your finger as a magic pen. Where would you say the bars go to? Okay, you also need to use what information is currently on the bar chart to complete the pictogram. All right, so pause the video, give both those things a try. Okay, let's have a look. So we have our rabbit names down the side. So we've got Fluffy, Snowy, Thumper and Bugs Bunny, and the number of carrots eaten. Each carrot is worth 10, as we can see down here. Okay, so let's start with Fluffy. So it's empty on the pictogram, but does have information on the bar chart. So if we go to the top of the bar and we go across, and it comes to number 10. So it needs to show 10 carrots here. Do I draw 10 carrots or do I not? How many do I need to do? Okay, so each carrot is worth 10, so I only need to draw 1 carrot. Okay, not sure if that's carrot, but it will do for now. Okay, then we've got Snowy. Snowy has information on the pictogram but not on the bar chart. So we've got 10 and then half, so we know that's 5. So we've got 10 add 5 is 15. Okay, so you would use a ruler. I don't have that option on this at the moment, so you draw your line really straight up to 15, go across and go down, and there is a gap between each of the bars. Again, you would use a ruler. Okay, I haven't worked out how to do that on this yet. So leave a gap between each one. Okay, so then I have thumper, which again, I don't have the information on the pictogram, so I need to go to my bar chart, go up the bar and go along. Okay, I'm just drawing it so you can see it clearly. You can just use your finger to help you. All right, so it's 25. So how many carrots will I need to draw? Okay, so each one is 10. So I've got 10, 20, and then I would need half of one for that 5. Okay, so we have our carrots on there. And then our last one is Bugs Bunny. He's been very hungry. So he has 10, 20, 30, 5. Okay, so again, I would get my ruler. I would go up as straight as I can to 35. Okay, go along the bar and back down. Okay, I'm going to just rub out this line here and this one here because we don't go straight along to the scale. It is a bar on its own. Okay, so the bar shouldn't be touching the other bars in a bar chart. Let's have a look at a neater version because mine's a bit squiggly. There we go, a much neater version. Can you see now how we've used a ruler? It goes along and down, doesn't go right across to the scale. Okay, but we can still see that it lines up with 35. And then our pictogram is completed as well. Okay, use the bar chart to answer these questions about the number of goals scored in a tournament. Question A, which team scored the most goals? B, how many more goals did Team A score than Team D? And how many goals did Team C and E score together? How many goals were scored in total? So pause the video, use the information on the bar chart and answer all 4 of those questions. Okay, so let's have a look then. So which one scored the most? So that's nice, easy. We don't even need to count the amounts on this or look at the thing. We can just see which bar goes the highest. Okay, and that is Team E. Okay. How many more goals did Team A score than Team D? So we're going to work out the difference. So I'm going to draw a line just so we can see. Okay, so Team D scored 10 and Team A scored 25. So we need to work out the difference from here. Okay, so I'm going to just count up in 5. So we've got 5, 5, 10, 15. So it's a difference of 15 goals. How many goals did Team C and E score all together? I'm just going to delete these lines so they don't get in our way. Okay, so Team C and E, sorry. So we've got Team C here. We'll go along. They have scored 15. Team E, which is our highest scoring team, all the way along, they've scored 30. So you would need to add those 2 scores together to get 45. And then we can look at our total by adding each of the amounts together. Okay. So that gives us 85. All right, well done if you got all of those. Okay, so now we're going to have to go at creating a bar graph. I know you're looking at this on the screen, but if you have paper, stop the video and draw the axes, which is our lines across and up. Okay, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little indents that are evenly spread. So if you've got lined paper, use 7 lines. Okay, just give it a go. If not, just watch how I'm doing it. Okay, so we're going to use the tally chart to help us create this bar graph. So we need to use a scale of 5, it tells us here, okay, and add in the labels. So if I'm going to start with my scales. So at the very bottom, we're going to have 0, okay, and it says scale of 5, so I'm going up in 5. So on that little line that is sticking out, not in between, it goes on the line, okay. So then 10, this is the one time we'll tell you not to write on the lines and write right in the middle of them. Okay, so then we've got 15, again, sat right in the middle of that line. 20, oh, 2's are not easy to do with a mouse. 25, okay, and then we've got 30, and I will show a neater version in a minute, 35. Okay, so then down the bottom, we've got 4 different sections. So looking on here, what information do you think we put along the bottom? Okay, so we're going to put the dinosaur names. So I'm just going to do a quicker version. So I'm just going to put TR for T-Rex in that box. And then I'm going to put T on its own for Triceratops. Then we have R for a raptor and D for the Diplodocus. And I apologise if I said any of those dinosaur names wrong. Okay, so now I'm going to change colours so we can see the information we're adding. So this is my scale down the side going up in 5s and starting at 0 at the bottom, and the name of the dinosaurs are in the bottom row. Okay, so let's look at the T-Rex. How many do we have showing on our tally there? Right, so we've got 5. So using my ruler, I go up to number 5, along and back down. And can you see there's a gap either side? This one's giving me a bit of a head start. It's got little lines to draw it on. My next one, Triceratops, we've got 5, 10. Okay, so again, I'm going to go up until, oh, I was doing so well, to the 10 line, along and down. Okay, so then I've got my raptor, which is 10 again. So we've got 5. So if I go up here, is that correct? No, it needs to be on that line because we need to use the information we have accurately, and halfway between 10 and 15 is not the number we need at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to go up, and it's the same as the Triceratops, so go across and back down. And then my last one, we've got 5, 10, 15. Okay, so I'm going to go 5, 10, 15. Okay, you might find it easier to have a ruler going along so you can see where your line needs to go. I'm using the lines on my paper on there. You can then colour in your bars if you would like to, but that's not vital. Okay, but can you see how they've got gaps between them and they go up to the line so they're level with the correct number on the scale? So there's a neater version for you to see. Okay, so they've put the full names underneath because they had to, there was no way I was going to be able to write that with the mouse underneath. Right, so this bar chart shows people's favourite drinks. We've got milk, water, tea, juice and cola. More children like juice than tea, but fewer like juice than milk. Complete the bar chart showing how many children could like tea and juice. So tea and juice is currently empty. This one, again, there's going to be multiple possibilities for this, but have a look. Where do you think the tea and the juice bars would go up to? Can you come up with more than one possible answer? So pause and then we'll have a look at a correct or an example of a filled in one. Okay, so here it is. So this is just one example. Like I said, there's more than one possible way of doing it. So if tea has to be less, it could be anywhere down this row. Okay, we could have stopped it at 8, we could have stopped it at 4 or 6. Okay, so it doesn't matter if yours isn't exactly the same as mine. This is just to show you how I've used the information to create that bar graph and done it with a ruler with the gaps in between. Okay, so let's have a go at finding some information from a bar chart. Ben interprets the bar chart below about his favourite types of PE. So we've got gym, dance, games and athletics. He says more children like athletics than games. Is he correct? Can you explain how you know? So look at the bar chart. So we're looking for athletics and games, and we are looking for more. All right, so actually we can at the moment ignore this one because we don't need gym and we don't need dance at the moment, so we can ignore those. We're just looking at these two. So he's saying more children like athletics than games. Okay, so what do you think? Is he correct? He is not correct. Can you say why he is not correct? So have a look. So games here goes up to 6 and athletics goes to 4. Okay, so it's not correct because 4 children like athletics and 6 like games, so more like games. Okay, so we're going to look at this data and we need to complete the pictogram first. So we've got down the side some house types. We've got detached, semi-detached, terraced or flat. And each picture of a house is worth 4 children. Okay, so up in detached, let's first of all work out how many are here. So we've got 4 on here, 8, and then half of that would be worth 2. Okay, so we've got 4, 8, 10. Okay, so this one we've got 4, 8, 12 and 16. So 16 children live in a semi-detached house. Okay, and we need to fill out these last two, so we're going to use the clues we're given. 8 more children live in a flat than a terraced house. Okay, so at the moment, can we fill that in? No, we haven't got the information to do that yet. So let's go to the next clue. 10 fewer children live in a terraced house than a semi-detached house. So let's have a look at the semi-detached house. And we know there are 16 children living in semi-detached houses. So what is 10 fewer than that? Good, so you should have got to 6 for that one. Remember, you can pause at any point if you're working them out. Okay, so now we can work out what 8 more would be. So 8 more children live in a flat than in a terrace. So we need 6 add 8, okay, which would take us to 14. So then we need to think about what that would look like on a pictogram. Remember, each house is worth 4. So how are we going to show 6 children for the terraced house? Okay, let's see if you're right. So we have one complete one, which is 4, and then half, which is 2. So 4 add 2 is 6. And now our flat, 14 for a flat. Let's go 4, 8, 12. Okay, and then half of 1 to make 14. Using that information, can you draw a bar graph, a bar chart, to show how many children live in each type of house? Okay, so pause, give it a go, and we'll look at how to do it together. Okay, so here is how we could do it. Doesn't matter if the colours are different, doesn't matter if you haven't coloured it in, and it doesn't matter if you've used a different scale either. I've chosen to go up in 2s because I knew that all of the sets of data were in the 2 times table, so I decided to go up in 2s because it works nicely. Okay, if you went up in 1s, absolutely fine. I've got my detached 10 and then a little gap between them, semi-detached 16, 6 for the terraced and 14 for the flat. Okay, and I've labelled it at the bottom as well, showing each house type. Right, so there's going to be a short quiz today for you to answer, but then at the end of that, I'm going to set you some tasks to do that I want you to have a go at making your own bar graphs. Okay, you won't be able to do that on the quiz, so if you can do it on paper or onto a computer, whichever you prefer, and then you can upload that to Tapestry. Okay, so good luck. Remember to use a ruler if you can. If you haven't got one, use the edge of a book. All right, or an end of a letter or post, okay, just so you're getting those straight lines, because it will make it a lot easier if your bar chart has straight edges. Okay, I look forward to seeing your work.